Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your
hosts,
Mike.
and Toria.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic.
You know, it never ceases to amaze me what a weird place we live in.
What's weird about it, besides all the things that we've already talked about on the podcast?
Well, okay. It's difficult for me to sort out what true weirdness is here for one really big reason. I lived the largest, by far, chunk of my life in the state of California.
In a place that categorically, from all other people, is really fucking weird.
And I learned, though, all of the rules, the laws, etc. I knew all the little nuances about traffic rules and whatnot because I lived through them making those laws.
Mm-hmm.
Then I come here. We're in Nevada, in Las Vegas. And it's like so different. Everything is different here.
But in a lot of ways,
Similar.
way more reasonable.
And in a lot of ways similar. But what I'm getting at is because there's so much of the city's money is dependent upon tourism, there are a lot of rules and regulations and laws around protecting that. Like I found out that the walkways between the casinos, those are private walkways. They could shut those down if they wanted to.
I wonder who owns them. If it's a separate company or if it's like MGM owns some and CZ
Exactly.
owns
Who
others.
knows?
Or
But that's one of the things I found out. Or that they make rules around where they will and will not allow street vendors.
more places need to do more of that.
So, just recently on an episode of What Happens in Vegas, you can go check that out at youtube.com/at WHIV. Go check it out. But we did an episode where we went to the fabulous Welcome to Las Vegas sign.
Is that what it's called on the map? The fabulous Welcome to Las Vegas sign?
Yeah. It was literally what Apple Maps called it. But here's an article, and I'd already seen a video about this, and I know you saw it. So for full disclosure to people, this is not our usual first time reacting to something. But it says street vendor arrested following police altercation at Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign. The arrest follows a video that circulated online showing an LVMPD officer pulling a taser on a food vendor at the tourist site. So then it goes into, over the weekend, a food vendor operating in the streets of Las Vegas was stopped by police twice. Now he faces 3 criminal charges following a publicized altercation where an officer pulled a taser on the man at a popular tourist location. The vendor, I'm not going to read his name, now faces the following charges. And it's not to protect him. It's because they don't want to promote him. Now faces the following charges. Battery on a protected person, police officer, violation of mobile food vendor regulations, operating without a license, obstructing a police officer, resisting detainment. According to the LVMPD, 25-year-old officer stopped the dude on Saturday for illegally selling food as a street vendor in Las Vegas. The same officer arrived to the Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign on Sunday, the next day, to find the same guy again operating without presenting a valid license. Well, the guy apparently grabs the officer by the back of the neck and trips him to the ground after the officer came up to him.
So that's what happened before the video we saw?
Yes.
Wow.
So then in the police report that they released, the officer says that he asked the vendor to present a license, which the dude did on his phone. However, the license was for operating in California, not Nevada. The The officer then continued asking for a proper license and identification. At this point, Dude began saying Officer Steigler was harassing him. The report states the resistance to answer those questions prompted the officer to go hands-on with the dude. So then it shows him pulling the taser. He's listed as using his personal weapons like hands, feet, and teeth. He was booked into Clark County Detention Center. Well, the further story is that he bailed out, but INS was there to grab him, and they're going to deport him because he was here illegally from Mexico. And so he really couldn't even possibly have had a license to do this.
Did you know what's interesting? Okay, well, I know when you showed me the video, we both decided there was more to the story. Something had to have happened before the video started, because the video started with the officer saying, "Now you've really pissed me off." So something obviously
Yeah, he
happened.
said something to the effect of like, what are you doing? You already pissed me off.
Yeah, something about already being mad. So there's clearly something had happened before.
Prior.
And then the video was just the police officer pulling his taser out and tasing the dude, effectively, because, social media.
And I want to clarify something, because someone's going to comment on this. When we made the comment that there's more to this that we need to see, it was based on evidence. In the video, he says right away, the officer,
Right.
"Well, you already pissed me off." Already when? Where is it? We just started. How did you already piss him off? There has to be even 1 second of video prior to that. There has to be, at least, right? And maybe up to infinite amount. Who knows how much? But there has to be at least 1 second, right? So we asked for it. We didn't say, "Oh, the officer was in the right," or "the dude was in the right." No, we said, there has to be more to the story. Let's see it. In other words, were we ready to decide who was right and who was wrong? No, because we didn't have enough information in our own mind. So we asked for more. But people are going to say that we're racist or, bootlickers or whatever because of a stance that we take.
Anyway, now that I can get back to what I was saying before you had to go off on your tirade, our conclusion from just the video was probably that the police officer overreacted a little. If you'll remember. That's the conversation we had.
Yes.
But
a very little bit.
I kind of offhand made the comment, like, why would you refuse to give the police officer your ID? Maybe he's not here legally.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny now, because I was obviously right about that. Because there's no other reason to not want to give the police officer your ID. Police officer your ID. The funniest thing, in my opinion, though, the absolute most hilarious part of all of this, is that a few days after all of this came out, you and I went down to the Las Vegas sign and I took this beautiful photo. It says, "Welcome and enjoy your visit to the sign. For your information, there are no reserved times. Anyone can take a photo. There are no designated photographers. Vendors are not licensed to conduct business at this location."
So even if he had a license, he wouldn't have been allowed to be there. That's kind of the point. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he was Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese,
Super white,
American, Canadian,
super
Mexican,
white.
Brazilian. It doesn't matter what in he is. He can't have a license to vend there because it explicitly says no vendors are licensed to be here. Period. It amends the rules.
Makes it real easy for a cop rolling by to be like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Right. And it's just chase them away. And you know what? I'm going to guarantee you that if they don't cause trouble, they'll kind of, I'll look the other way for a little while.
Right, but he clearly had a point in asking that dude to leave the first day, and then to come back the very next day
And he's
see
there
this
again.
belligerent motherfucker back.
And that's the thing that people need to understand. Like, allegedly, he already had a lawyer who was representing him in an immigration case. All right. Now, if there truly was an active case open, he would have had a card from them saying this, and he could have presented that to law enforcement.
Like when I went through my immigration, I had a card.
Yeah.
They send
you an alien card.
as soon as they took our money, effectively.
Yeah, once they cash the
sent
check, they send the card.
Right.
And he just didn't go through the process correctly, is what it sounds like. And Again, I don't care if you're what color you are, what race you want to call yourself. I'm just talking about, in general, humankind. Humankind. All humans
What about the
should be smart
extraterrestrials?
enough not to find themselves in some of
How
these stupid positions.
dare you exclude the extraterrestrials?
They're not part of this discussion. I only
How?
speak for current
This is
terrestrials.
Las Vegas.
Well, this is true. There might
There
be some
are
extraterrestrials.
certainly
with them among us.
extraterrestrials here. Have
There
you
must be.
seen some of the people who walk around this place?
You know, you're probably right. You're probably right. I mean, and that's kind of where we started this show, was about how this is a weird place.
Right.
And, you know, that was just one example of how weird it is. And I mean, and it's just that particular issue is just going to get weirder. Because, like, I had a lady comment, someone said, well, I don't really care if he's here legally or illegally. And I said, well, you would probably rethink that position if you had just paid over $4,000 for legal immigration.
And that was without a lawyer,
And
by the way.
yes. And they were like, I don't understand. And I explained it to them like, oh, well, yeah, I kind of get your point, you know. And now they're going to defend that. Well, you know, he was just here making money for his family. He was just here making money for his family. It's so terrible where he was. Then follow the legal way, get asylum, and bring your damn family over.
You know, that's a huge difference between here and California. Because after I made the comment, I wonder if he's here less than legally. You said, well, that won't matter anyway. They won't call immigration just because they've arrested him. And I was like, well, you're probably right. That's what California was like. But that's not what happened. Clearly, it triggered something that caused immigration to be like, hello, you come with us now, good sir.
They might not have a law that forbids them from sharing it, in which case, if it came up in their background check that, you know, check here and hit submit to notify the officer on the other end that you have this subject.
Right.
It probably doesn't allow you to hold him any longer or anything like that. You still got to follow all of those rules.
Yeah,
but it just triggers a notification, and then as soon as they come out, kabam!
Yeah.
Mr. Smith, come with me.
It was...
And that sounds like what happened to him.
When we went to all those sanctuary city council debate things.
Yeah.
I know we covered them in this podcast.
Yes, multiple
centuries ago.
Multiple times, yes.
Anyway, when we went to all of that, I learned so much about how police officers have to handle immigration status in California. Like, they don't even ask or check. If you have a way to identify yourself, you're good.
Yep.
Here, apparently, it's a different story.
Well, yeah, clearly. I mean, it is, and that's the thing, though. Like, things that we've had settled in our head,
right,
are no longer settled in our head because now it's all new. But that's okay. It's kind of interesting to learn. And I am learning because of the voting. That's really the only reason I'm learning, because I want to decide which crazies I agree with more, because there's a lot of crazies running around here.
Extraterrestrials.
Maybe there are. I don't know. There could very well be. I mean, there's that crazy place. What is it called? Area
We're like
15?
We're like halfway in between
that what that one is
Alien
called?
Beef Jerky and Area 51. You know, like, there are aliens in Las Vegas, but yes, there's Area 15 in Las Vegas.
Okay, and that's the place we walked around the other day.
Psychedelic immersive entertainment experience.
Yeah, there's got to be aliens in there. There's aliens in there, especially that store that's there.
That
I don't
lady,
know what it's called. There's an alien in there. I think that lady that helped us was an alien.
I was just going to say that, and I put lady in finger quotes because she was interesting.
Yeah, I couldn't decide.
Like an uncomfortable interesting. Not.
I couldn't decide what I thought about that. And you know, it's kind of sad, but the whole stuff that's gone on, and you know, we must have our rights, you know, it's now, I would have never thought of it before, but now it was like, wait a minute, maybe there, you know, and I'm not going to say it.
Do you need an Austin Powers quote here?
Yes. I don't have one, baby.
That's not the quote.
I know, baby. Yeah, baby.
It rang clearly through
Isn't
my
that what
head
he
when
always
said
says?
that.
Isn't that what he always says when he doesn't know what else to say? Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
That's what he always says when he doesn't know what to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's what I'll just say. Yeah, baby. Because I don't know what else to say to that.
If anyone who's listening to this could leave us a comment wherever you're listening, or drop us an email telling me what Austin Powers quote I'm actually referencing, I will mail you a sticker.
I have no idea. But you know, that kind of brought us full circle back to how weird it is in Vegas. And we talked about that a little bit more. And, you know, I think the way to just kind of wrap it in a bow is like one last example. And that is our park that we live, you know, somewhat close to has like a amphitheater. I almost said aqueduct. It's amphitheater. And they have some of the weirdest acts that perform there. And I'm talking weird
You mean
acts that like even
Hip Hop Foam Fest?
yeah, like weird things combined that you kind of go, what, like 10% of the people might listen to that kind of music, but then out of that 10%, like less than 0.5% of them is interested. So like how much percent of the total is that, you know? Like it's just weird. And that's the thing. They don't care. They're unabashed about it. They're just like out there and I'm weird and I don't care because I'm having the time of my damn life.
Right.
And I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome to be that way. And I strive to be more that way. What's that?
I'm not even joking about Hip Hop Foam Fest. That's not what it was
I
called.
know, but it was something like that.
It was like a lineup of 5 or 6 hip hop / DJ type artists.
And then they like pump foam in there and they dance in the foam.
It was full of the neon foam.
I had to Google this to find out what it was. And I was mortified. Let me just tell you, the stuff that comes up, don't ever search that.
But that's that event that there was the shooting in front of when it occurred.
Oh, one of those foam fests?
The Foam Fest. Like 6 months ago. Foam Fest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, clearly not run by the nicest of people,
Well,
I guess.
I think the foam and the psychedelic of the foam probably encourage some drug use, and some drug use never leads to good things.
Yeah, especially in crowds where there's already a little bit of tension.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like there could be in a crowd like that, you know? Because, you know, one of the problems with crowds like that is there's 2 popular artists. A majority will like both of them. Then there's going to be the percentage that only likes one but not the other, or the other but not the one. And they're always very vocal about their opinion about it. And so they're the ones that go to the damn concert just to scream them down. I can't stand those people.
Already.
And that's all I got for you. I'm out of bull to shit.
Good night, extraterrestrials.
Still a bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.